He just told a sitting member of Congress to be ashamed on live TV. But what he didn't say is even worse, and it exposes exactly how out of touch this administration really is.
Thank you, Mr. Chairman. And I will grant very briefly any time that you feel like you need to address anything.
Again, I think the ranking member does not understand.
Mr. Secretary, I'm sorry. The gentleman will suspend. There's a parliamentary inquiry. Mr. Sherman?
Mr. Chair, will you enforce the rules of this committee so that the time belongs to the questioner and prevent filibusters from taking time away? And if those filibusters by the witness do take time away, will you allocate additional time?
I will enforce the 5-minute rule.
I want my time back.
The gentleman from Michigan is recognized.
I grant briefly anything that you feel you need to address.
I believe the ranking member does not understand the definition of generalized inflation versus one-time price increases. I would also note that housing, especially for working Americans, a Wharton study has shown that the mass unfettered immigration, adding 10 to 20 million new people demanding housing, Congresswoman, is what caused a great deal of housing inflation for working Americans. So you and the Biden administration should be ashamed.
Which is also why we are seeing rents. There was just a recent media story on this. Rents are going down partially because of that enforcement. Mr. Secretary.
Yes, it is, supply and demand continues to work.
I've got a number.
What you just saw wasn't a policy debate. It was a deflection. When Scott Bessent snapped at Congresswoman Maxine Waters and told her and the Biden administration to be ashamed, he wasn't offering solutions. He wasn't presenting evidence. He wasn't taking responsibility. He was doing what this administration has done over and over again when confronted with real economic pain: change the subject, point fingers, and pretend working families aren't living this reality every single day. Let's be clear about what's happening in America right now. People are getting crushed by housing costs. Rent has eaten up paychecks. Groceries are still more expensive. Childcare is still unaffordable. Medical bills still knock families off their feet. And instead of owning that reality, instead of explaining what they're actually going to do to fix it, Bessent tried to turn a serious oversight hearing into a political lecture about immigration and one-time price increases. That's not leadership. That's evasion. Maxine Waters wasn't grandstanding. She was doing her job. She was pressing a cabinet official on inflation, on cost of living pressures, and on why so many Americans feel like they're falling further behind. Even when politicians in Washington keep telling them everything is fine. And rather than answer directly, Bessent chose to scold, insult, and redirect. Notice the move. Instead of talking about corporate price gouging, instead of talking about supply chain manipulation, instead of talking about Wall Street speculation in housing markets, instead of talking about why wages still aren't keeping up with costs, he blamed immigration and waved away inflation as if families haven't been feeling it every time they swipe a card at the grocery store or pay rent.